Let's come to stand at the top of our mat, bringing your big toes together, your heels slightly apart. Ground down through your feet and reach up through the crown of the head as you start to stack the spine. Finding extension and expansion here, reach out through your fingertips and then start to deepen your breath. Bringing the breath in and out through the nose, slight constriction of the back of your throat, making your breath audible. And you can dedicate this next 30 minutes to maintaining this consistent rhythmic breath. And with your next inhale, let's bring our arms above head, palms touch as you gaze up. And then exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, bring your gaze up, look up with a flat spine. Exhale, jump or step back into high plank. Bending the elbows, let's lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into upward facing dog, drawing your chest up towards the ceiling. Tucking your toes and exhale into downward facing dog. With your next inhale, step your right foot in between your hands. Keep your left heel stacked above your toes. And let's rise up with the chest. Arms come up, palms touch. Taking a few deep breaths here as you sink into that front knee, making sure it's stacked directly over your ankle. And then let's exhale our hands back down onto the mat, stepping back into high plank, bending the elbows, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Switching sides, inhale, step your left foot forward, rising up with the arms. Really lift up and out of the pelvis here, but keep sinking into that left knee. Then exhale your hands back down onto the mat, stepping back into high plank. We'll lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, so let's spread our fingers nice and wide, ground down through your palms, and bring a slight bend into your knees, allowing you to curl your tailbone up towards the ceiling and find full extension through the spine. And as the body starts to warm up and open up, you can slowly start to straighten your legs if the body allows. Taking a couple more breaths here. Really dropping into your body, and then with your next inhale, gaze forward, jump or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the torso. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, let's rise all the way up, palms touch, bring your gaze up. And exhale your arms by your side into Samastitihi. So 2 more just like that. Inhale, let's bring our arms up, gaze comes up, reach here. And exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, look up with a flat spine. Exhale, jump or step back into high plank. We'll lower here, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's step our right foot forward. Left heel stays up off the mat. And inhale, let's come up with the arms. Again, bending into that front knee, but lifting up out of the pelvis so you feel the lightness out through the crown of your head. Let's exhale our hands back down onto the mat, step back into high plank, and lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Let's come on up with the arms, reaching and breathing nice and deep in and out through the nose. And then exhale your hands back down onto the mat, stepping back into high plank. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Very good. Taking the same actions into the body here so that you find extension through the spine, and then simply rest into your breath. See now if you can connect a little bit deeper into your breathing. Then we'll bring our gaze forward, jump or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bring your chest towards your knees. Inhale, let's rise all the way up nice and strong. Bring your gaze up, palms touch. And then exhale your arms by your side into Samastitihi. One more. Inhale, let's come on up with the arms. Gaze comes up. And exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, look up with a flat spine. Exhale, jump or step back through high plank. Lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Keep that back heel lifted and let's come on up with the arms. Palms touch or they can be slightly apart, allowing the shoulders to drop further down the back. Then let's exhale our hands back down onto the mat. Step back into high plank and lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Heel stays lifted as you rise up, nice and strong through the legs, light through the torso, and light out through the fingertips. So hugging into that center line as you reach here. And then exhale your hands back down onto the mat. Step back into high plank and lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So this month, as we're bringing lots of awareness into the front of the body, opening it up by finding lots of strength and support in the back of the body. So this perfect balance between front and back, opening and strengthening. And let's bring our gaze forward, jump or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, let's rise all the way up, palms touch, bring your gaze up. And then exhale your arms by your side into Samasthiti. So coming to stand at the top of our mat, again, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Let's interlace our fingers and reach your palms straight up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the arms. Know as much as you're extending down into your feet, pushing down into the mat, I want you to lengthen and reach out through the crown of the head and out through your arms. And once you've found this length, you can reach up and over to the right, Chandrasana. So it's like you're coming up and over a barrel, finding just as much extension into the right side of the body as you're feeling into the left side of the body. Keep the breath flowing through the body. And then with your next inhale, let's reach back up through center. Same action, reach up through the arms, reach down through the feet, and then come up and over to the left for Chandrasana. Make sure you're really rooting down through that right foot to find the balance as you extend through the arms. We'll inhale ourselves back up through center, really lengthen here. And then we're going to come into a slight back bend, reaching back. So keep the pelvis steady here. Keep the torso and the spine nice and long. And then when you can support that structure, you can slowly start to lean back. And we'll inhale ourselves back up through center one last time, reaching and lengthening here. And then exhale your arms by your side into Samasthiti. So coming to stand at the top of the mat once again, let's take a step back with our right foot. We're coming into Utthita Trikonasana or triangle posture. So your right toes are going to point towards the back of the room, left pointed towards the side wall. Arms come up parallel with the mat. Find the length here. And then exhale your right hand onto your right shin, top of your foot, or to the inside edge of your right foot as you extend your left fingers up towards the ceiling. You can feel free to use a block here too if you need a little bit more of a middle point. So that front leg stays nice and straight as you ground down through your feet. Then I want you to find tons of extension through the side of the body. And often that means we need to back out of the posture to find that space and that alignment and then work from that authentic place. So as we keep the breath nice and steady, we're going to move into Parivrtta Trikonasana. So we're going to drop both hands onto either side of your right foot, spinning that left foot a little bit wider and to point now towards the back of the room so we can square through the hips. We're going to place our left hand onto our right shin and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Again, using a block if you need to with that left hand. If you feel really unstable and wobbly here, just play with the placement of your feet. So So maybe moving them a little bit wider. We're really working this month with finding that foundation. So finding that structure and that base point to then grow and work from. Really reach through the crown of the head for a couple more breaths here. And then keeping your feet where they are, let's rise up with the torso, interlacing your hands behind your back, lengthening up through the chest, and then exhale, fold forward over your right leg, arms reach up towards the ceiling. Again, trying to stack the spine here, extending out through the crown of the head. And then soften into your breath. And with your feet grounded down strongly into the mat, with your next inhale, let's rise up, releasing your hands. And then what we're going to do here is pivot on the toes. So we're going to pivot so that our left toes face the front of the room, right toes towards the side wall, keeping your legs nice and strong. Extend through the arms, lengthen here, move into Utthita Trikonasana now on the left. Left hand onto your shin, foot onto a block, wherever is best for your body, and then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Again, lengthening just as much into the left side of the body as you are into the right side of the body. Remember, we're looking to create this balance point, this equilibrium in the body. So first we're working with the physical body, which is the most tangible. And through that consistent breath, then we start to reach the brain as well and the mind, creating that same balance point to come back to. Beautiful. And then let's drop into Parivrtta Trikonasana. So let's square your hips now, hands onto either side of that left foot, and then come into your twist. Right hand onto your left shin, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Or find your block here so that you can extend a little more through the spine. Good. Again, always coming back into that base point. So play with the placement of your feet here. And if it gives you more space, then you know that you're moving in the right direction. Good. Find your feet. Inhale, let's rise up. Interlacing your hands behind your back. And then when you're ready, exhale, fold forward over that left leg. Reaching and extending in all different directions here. Taking little micro movements into the body to find that space. And once again, find your feet and inhale, let's rise all the way up, releasing your hands and come to stand at the top of your mat into Samastitihi. And once again, let's take a step back with our right foot, right toes towards the back of the room, left angle towards the side wall, coming to Virabhadrasana B. So let's sink into that front knee so that it's stacked directly over your ankle. Arms come up nice and straight, parallel with the mat. And let's bring our gaze straight forward so that we're stacking from the pelvic floor all the way through the crown of your head. So with a slight tucking under of the pelvis, sink a little bit deeper into that front knee and ground through the outer edge of your left foot. In these warrior postures, you should feel extremely steady and strong. And then with that strength, you should feel subtler sensations as we move up through the body. Beautiful. Let's drop our right elbow onto our right knee. Left arm reaches across our ear, pointing towards the back of the room. Reach through your fingertips. And if you have a little more space, drop your right hand to the inside edge of your right foot. And again, as much space that you feel into the left side of the body, see if you can bring that same awareness into the right side of the body. And allow your next inhale to rise you all the way up. We're going to pivot on the toes and move into Virabhadrasana B now on the left. So sinking into that left knee, left toes towards the front of the room, right ankle towards the side, and then reach through your arms. Keep sinking into that left knee a little bit deeper, ensuring that it's over the ankle. And then see if you can work through your body all the way from your toes to the crown of your head, stacking bone upon joint, joint upon bone. And then this is what gives us the foundation to really start to grow from. Let's bring our left elbow onto our left knee, reach your top arm across your ear, or left fingertips come to the inside edge of your left foot. If you've lost sight of the breath a little bit, see if you can move back into that rhythmic breath that we started our practice with. This is also a huge participant in setting up that foundation for our practice. Without the breath, we cannot set that foundation. Beautiful. Let's inhale, rise all the way up, and come to stand at the top of your mat into Samastitihi. Let's take a full inhale here through the nose and a full cleansing exhale through the mouth. Good. Taking a vinyasa. Inhale, let's bring our arms up. Gaze comes up as you lengthen. And exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, look up with a flat spine. Exhale, jumper step back through high plank, lowering Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. With your next inhale, let's step our right foot in between our hands. Drop your left knee down onto the mat and keep your back toes tucked under. So a few options here. Right hand can come up onto your right knee and reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, sinking into that front knee, stacking it over your ankle. But as much as you sink down there, now I want you to come back into the pelvis and lift up and out, reaching through the crown of the head, drawing up on the pelvic floor, and draw your belly button back towards your spine. If you have the space, bend the left knee, catching on to your ankle or top of your foot as you spin the shoulder to face the front of the room. Good. If you have a hold of your left foot, you can release it now, bringing your hands down onto either side of your foot. We're going to come into our splits. So a few options here. You can start with your hands on your hips and just work your front leg straight, toes up towards the ceiling. So this might be deep enough for some of us. As the body opens up, we can bring our hands down onto the mat and start to inch that right foot forward. But if your hips start to open and splay out to the side, I want you to back out of the posture, pulling your right hip back, left hip forward, and then work from this place. Again, this will allow the body to have that foundation to start to safely open up and start to unwind. Working through old patterns in the body that we have gathered throughout the years that are no longer serving us. So this is our way of unwinding and starting to let them go and creating space for new patterns to come into the body. And let's release from the posture, moving into downward facing dog. And switching sides, let's step our left foot forward, dropping your back knee onto the mat, right toes stay tucked under. And then let's bring our left hand onto our left knee to start, either reaching your right arm straight up towards the ceiling or catching on to your back foot or ankle. Working to square through the shoulders, working to square through the hips and lift up and out. So you can see with the right amount of awareness, we have this perfect balance on the physical level. And then with that breath, that same perfect balance then resonates with the mind. And if you have a hold of your back foot, let's release it now and move into our splits on the left. You can also feel free to use a block under that left leg for support if you're quite close to the mat, or just work where you are, keeping the legs nice and strong. And with each exhale, maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Let's make our way into high plank. Taking a pause at the top here, shoulders stacked directly over your wrist. And then exhale, let's lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here, again, really reaching through the spine, ground through your feet, ground through your hands. And then we're going to drop our knees in between our hands, stacking our spine nice and tall, coming into camel posture, Ustrasana. So your toes can stay tucked under or feet flat onto the mat. Hands come onto the lower back to start. Let's reach up through the crown of the head first, keeping the pelvis stacked over your knees, and then start to reach back through the spine. Again, you always want to think of lifting up first as you ground down through the knees, and then you'll feel the support to start to move back. Starting to open up through the spine by stacking it here. If the body allows, you can reach back for your heels, taking the posture a little bit deeper, and then again, start to move your pelvis towards the front of the room. And let's inhale ourselves back up, sitting your sit bones back onto your heels, hands come onto your knees, and you're going to start to curl the spine through the opposite direction. So you're pulling back on your knees. It's quite an active stretch. Bringing your gaze towards your belly button. And then let's move into a second set here. Once again, stacking the body, hands can come onto the lower back or reach back for your heels as you move into the depth that is suited for your body. Organizing the tissue here, organizing the muscles, the bones, the body, so that we start to create more space. And once again, inhale, standing up nice and tall, and then sit your sit bones back onto your heels, hands onto your knees, and again, curl through the spine. And we'll release from the posture. Let's send both heels off to one side, coming back onto our sit bones. We'll come into a forward seated fold. So heels are grounding down to the mat, toes up towards the ceiling. Taking a nice tall spine here. And with integrity, then start to fold forward towards your knees. Gaze can come past your toes or towards your belly button. Making this an active stretch by engaging through the legs nice and strong. Lifting up on the pelvic floor, draw the belly button towards the spine, and then move from this place. If any of these postures feel a little bit weird or sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, it's okay. We're just retraining the body. So you never want the body to hurt, but a little bit of discomfort, moving into it and breathing is okay. We're teaching the body new ways of holding itself, new patterns, and setting new habits so that they actually start to serve us. And sitting up nice and tall. And then we'll come to lay flat onto our back, moving into our back bend practice. I'm going to walk you through 4 different stages. You can stop where is best for you. So let's bring our knees up towards the ceiling, feet flat onto the mat. You should be able to graze your heels with your fingertips. Arms come back by your side, and inhale, let's lift our pelvis up towards the ceiling. So strong legs here. A slight clenching of the glutes, but you don't want them super tight. If you're moving on to stage 2, your hands can come onto your lower back. Walking your elbows a little bit more underneath you, finding a little more extension through the spine. If you're still adding on, hands come beside your ears, fingertips pointing towards your heels. You can push onto the crown of your head, resetting the body, and then maybe up into your full wheel. If you're in your full wheel, even weight into your feet and your hands, ground strongly down to the mat, and lift your belly button up towards the ceiling. And then tuck your chin, and we can all come to lie flat onto our backs. Straighten your legs, straighten your arms, reach here, taking a couple deep breaths. Resting into the sensations that arise in the body through this opening. Seeing if you can pay attention to those subtler sensations after the release of the posture. Okay, let's take a second set. So setting the body up the same way, organizing it, knees up towards the ceiling, feet flat on the mat. When you're ready, inhale, lift your pelvis up, and you can start to move through the different stages. Stopping wherever is best for your body, offering that perfect challenge here. You should still be able to always maintain and hold that rhythmic breath in and out through the nose. And let's release. Lying flat on your back, reach through your toes, reach through your fingertips. Paying close attention to the subtle sensations that are washing over your body. And we'll take one last one here. When you're ready, setting up the body the exact same way, and then coming into your full expression. Teaching the body through repetition how to restructure, how to reprogram, and then how to sustain that change in the body. Beautiful. Let's release. Coming to lay flat onto your backs, knees in towards your chest. Maybe rolling on the spine a little bit here. We'll open our arms up nice and wide. Strap our knees both over to the left-hand side, bringing your gaze over your right fingertips. Softening the breath here. Seeing if you can feel your body sinking a little bit deeper into the mat. And understanding that you now just played a role in setting that stronger foundation. It's this stronger foundation that is required to be able to hold and support your intelligence. Beautiful. Let's switch sides, bringing your knees up and over, bringing your gaze to the opposite fingers. Learning how to soften while we still keep the mind focused and directed towards the breath. And let's bring our knees back up through center, lifting our legs straight up towards the ceiling. We're coming into Halasana. So you can either just place a block underneath your sit bones and bring your toes up towards the ceiling. Or if you want to come into the full posture, you're lifting your legs up and over your head. Hands can come onto your lower back, toes reaching towards the mat. Or feel free to bend your knees and rest them on your forehead. And although this is a compression posture, you can find a little space by reaching your tailbone up towards the ceiling and reaching your shoulders away from your ears. Taking a couple more breaths into this space. And then slowly starting to unwind the body, dropping down onto the mat. Legs come straight out. Feet flopping off to the side. Arms come by your side, palms facing up if you need a little more energy still for the day. Or if you're ready to shut it down after that, palms face down. Reaching through the crown of the head. And then see if you can find the softest breath possible. And with this soft breath, just allow it to wash over you, letting go of any other areas that you're still holding on to. Resting here just for the next few minutes. Let's slowly start to wake the body back up. Just paying close attention to this place that you got to during Shavasana. And see, as we start to bring movement into the body, if you can maintain this space and this dedication. When you're ready, bringing your knees in towards your chest, rolling onto the right side of your body, and then gently making your way up to a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. With your hands in front of your chest, with your eyes closed, extending the spine one last time. Taking a full inhale here and a full exhale out. And then when you're ready, gently opening your eyes, coming back into the space just there in front of you. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste.